Hump Day, Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. And anyone who's joining us over on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, welcome. Welcome, aka Frankie and Ninja Bunny. Juju, welcome. And I do hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Okay, let's see. Sorry I haven't been around. I got Brick Band for 2 days. Finally, it got unlocked. Is that Caps? Oh, Loverboy. Okay. Well, welcome. If you're able to make it, thank you very much. If not, I totally understand. People have things that are going on. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me just stop this. Okay, let's see. Anyone else? Minnesota, welcome. Okay, so today I want to talk about something that I tend to say, and some people don't like me saying it. They say, don't say that. Why do you say that? God should just end it all. My questions today are, why do people not want to hear this comment? Is it fear or not wanting to face a very real possible truth? Welcome, Brina. So, why, when I say that, because I find myself saying this comment a lot. God should just end it all because, you look around and you see just what's going on in the world. And I don't think God's happy. That's just my own personal opinion. Welcome, GP Man 45. Welcome back. That's just my own personal opinion, just with so many things that are going on. And, we were given this planet. And to me, we're doing everything we can to screw it up. And I always say that, when God, if whoever you believe God to be, if he decides to start over, he should put animals at the top of the food chains and put humans at the bottom, because we're the ones that are screwing up everything. So whether you believe in climate change or, whatever, the fact is that we do pollute our water. It didn't get there on its own. Man did it. We pollute the air. It didn't happen by itself. Man did it. We kill each other. I do believe when people say guns don't kill people, people kill people. That is true. A gun just can't get up and walk and shoot someone. We're fighting amongst ourselves. People are fighting with their families. They're fighting, with people in different countries. Everybody, there's a war here. There was a war there. And every time there's a war, it's supposed to be, well, hopefully this will be the war that will settle everything. And it never is. It's always going to be another war. So you can say that I'm being cynical, which I probably am. But at the same time, I do believe that there is some truth to what I'm saying. You guys can disagree with me. You can, push back. And AKA says he's not ready yet. He's giving us a chance to fix it. Well, but how many chances do we need? I mean, World War I was supposed to be the war to end all wars. 20 years later, we got World War II. you know, then barely, we're barely finished with World War II. Then the Korean War, and then barely out of that, you got the Vietnam War, and it goes on and on and on. Then if you want to go in reverse, you know, um, between the civil wars and you go back in time, uh, you know, back to the time of Knights of Columbus and all this other stuff. I mean, man has always been fighting each other. So when you say giving us a chance to fix it, well, how long does it take for us to fix it? How many thousands of years do we need to fix it? Meanwhile, right before I did the show, I had the news on, and well, my husband did, and local news, a mountain lion, they're looking for this mountain lion that attacked this 7-year-old boy. Is that sad? Yes, but then again, I'm looking around, I'm like, we're doing so much building here that these coyotes, which, I can go walk my dog and I see, a family of coyotes walking down on the other side of the street. It's like we've built out so much stuff. We've taken up so much land to put up concrete buildings and what have you, that these animals have no place to go. So yeah, they are going to come into your yard. Yeah, they are, and a lot of times for lack of food, so what do you do? Crucible, welcome. Shorty, welcome. So again, I may sound cynical, but again, it comes just for me. It just comes down to humans have just done so much damage, and so again, AK, when you say he's not ready yet, he's giving us a chance to fix it. I don't know. I mean, how much destruction do we need to do? Okay, seems like humanity is doing it on purpose. Okay, so um, I'm sorry, I just got to say it, lover boy. So, lover boy, when you say that it seems like humanity is doing it on purpose, then that begs the question: why would we purposely want to destroy each other? I do believe that there are people out there who are purposely doing things to destroy other people. I think that you do have countries that are out there that are purposely, they're not only are they destroying their own country from within, but they want to do it to other countries. Okay, so let's say, um, you are the person who's the king of the entire world. You control the entire world. Then what? Because usually when you have places that are like that, people are usually starving. People usually, just in really bad situations. Look at Afghanistan. you know, look at so many other countries that you can point to. Why would you want to destroy each other? So that's just sad to me. Loverboy says repentance can fix everything and being more humble. Okay. And then Brina says we impose on their natural habitat and wonder why. Right. Brina, and again, I live in a city that used to be all dairy. It used to be dairy land. And we still have a lot of dairy. So after 8 o'clock, if you open up your window, you get the breeze, and you know that the cows just finished eating. But I look at how much my city has grown. I mean, it's only 65,000. We've only been a city since 2010. I moved here in 2003, and it was literally like 2,500 people. And even when no one was building, and so the so-called crash was going on back in 2011, 2012, my city has not stopped building. And it's like every single piece of real estate that is available, they want to build on it. How many Starbucks do we need? you know um They just opened another Starbucks, a city of 65,000 people. We have five Starbucks, and they're opening up a sixth one, and they're always crowded. I mean, I don't get it. So, um, let's see. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Hello. And Loverboy said, "Yeah, look at what USA did to Afghanistan." About I can hear. Hey, crazy lady, welcome. I didn't see you pop in. I was on my little rant. Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay, we need more comic book stores. Don't say that to my husband. My husband collects comic books, and he has comic books from like way like edition uh, comic books. Okay, good. All right. Oh, okay. It was okay. Crazily, that was you who couldn't hear. Okay. GB says every city needs at least three strip clubs at least. Oh, okay. But again, so with that note, I'm finished with my little rant. If anybody wants to, you know, tell me that I'm wrong, or stop saying that, or because I do, when I make that comment, I get mixed reactions. Some people agree with me, and some people say you really should stop saying that. So, and I'm like, well, if I'm not saying it, I guarantee you somebody else is. So, Crucible, are you up here? Let's see. The equipment was 5% smarter than me. All right. Do I need to send you? Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me catch you again. Okay, are you here? Yes. Okay. So, welcome, Crucible.
Hello, Solid. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I just wanted to comment real quick on the point you made about, why the comment you made about why do we treat each other the way we do. And I'm not an anthropologist, but you go back through history, and I believe it's in our DNA, which kind of begs the question, if God were to tear it all down and recreate it, would he be basically replicating what he had before, because we're still flawed human beings? And if you go back through time, we are, as human beings, we're oppressors. And I'm not talking about the United States and Afghanistan and stuff like that. I'm talking about back all the way back through the beginning of time. Men have been conquering other peoples and other countries, and it's part of how we survive. I think it's part of our survival instinct. And as evil as it sounds, conquering other people is just wrong. If you're conquering them for purposes of helping them, that's not really conquering them, is it? So when you're conquering a people's or a country, you're there to change their culture, you're there to change their values, you're there to change everything, not for the better typically. And the other thing, to everybody's points about Starbucks, the other very incarnate quality in human beings is greed. And when you combine the greed factor and the oppressor factor, you kind of get where we are right now. And nobody stops anybody, because more Starbucks means more quote unquote progress, right? And we all want more progress, except everybody's definition of progress is sometimes different. So I think if God were to tear it all down, I don't know that the needle would move that much, because we are a people, as a people, we're very flawed.
But if he were to start over, wouldn't it be his choice in terms of how he would make us? Because technically, and again, this is only if you guys believe in the Bible. Technically, the whole sin thing started with Adam and Eve. If Eve had not have bit the apple, it could have been all different. Technically. So, don't you think that if he were to start over, then he would do it differently? I mean, I would hope that he would.
But then, I mean, that's a fair point. But at the end, as he creates us, aren't we still all creatures of free will? So he could tear this thing down and put a brand new blueprint in place. But if he's dealing with the same flawed product, people with free will, he puts us on here and he gives us guidance. He gives us the Bible. He gives us right and wrong. But every day people do the opposite because we have free will. So as long as that component remains intact, I don't know that you can trust people to do the quote unquote right thing the second, third, or fifth time around.
Okay, so let me ask this, and guys, you know, I'm, I'm being serious when I ask this question, because I do believe that animals get screwed over so much by man. Do you think that animals have free will?
Limited free will. But to answer the question very quickly, no, no, they don't. They may have free will or be killed every single day.
Okay, Crucible, can you repeat that last part because you went out? You said no, animals do not have free will, and it's limited. Can you repeat what you said after that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was bad reception area. Yeah, I mean, within the animal kingdom, I suppose they all have free will because they stalk their prey. They can choose not to stalk their prey. I mean, they have limited free will in that regard. But in the human world, I don't think they have free will at all. I mean, if the dog wants to go for a walk and you don't want to take him, the dog doesn't go for a walk. If the dog wants something off of your dinner table and you don't give it to him, the dog doesn't eat that day. So I don't believe it's possible for animals, as long as there are human beings, to really have true free will.
Okay. All right. Well, Loverboy says, well, once he, hold on, crazy lady, let me catch you. There you go. Loverboy says, well, once he starts it over, he will be here. So it would be a sinless place. Frankie, thank you for joining my fan club. And then Loverboy says, this is already our second or third time around. So crazy lady, welcome. And what would you like to
I'll
add?
say, Crucible, I'd have to disagree with you because, see, like my dog, he always has food down, he always has water down, and he knows how to open the door. So if he wants to leave, he can leave, you know. So,
Okay,
like,
crazy lady, can you speak up just a little bit more?
okay, my dog, can you hear me now?
Actually, you are lower. You're
Can you hear me
softer.
now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. My dog, Jake, I mean, like, he always has water down, he always has food down, and he knows how to open the door up himself. So, like, in that argument, he does have free will. He eats when he wants to eat, he drinks when he wants to drink, and he goes outside when he wants to go out. You know what I mean? So,
I
like,
have a feeling I know what Crucible is going to say back to you. So, Crucible.
you know, I mean, who knows?
Who
Maybe,
Oh, I'm
maybe the
sorry.
animals are way more smarter because they, you know, because, like, I don't know. I think maybe, like, in a
let,
way,
let me
yeah.
ask you a question, oh, crazy. Who would be considered the master in that relationship between you and Jake? Who calls the shots? Who makes the decisions on what happens in that house every day?
Oh well, I like to think I do.
Okay, there's your free will answer.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand you have a talking dog or whatever he does. He opens the door, gets, but most.
Jake is cool. So,
He has a dude. He
I'm
thinks
teasing.
he doesn't know he's a dog.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the way
Yeah.
you determine who has free will and who doesn't. It's a picture of marriage, and it's not a
Yeah.
good marriage, and the husband says, you're not going out tonight, you're going to stay home here with me, and we're going to do whatever we're going to do. And they have an argument, and the woman ends up ultimately staying home. Now, does she have free will? Maybe not in that situation, but the person who's in charge of the relationship, whether it's a pet and a human or two humans, that kind of determines the limits, I should say, the free will piece. So I would have to kind of push back a little bit on the pet thing, because at the end of the day, you make the decisions.
Yeah. Either that or the animals have it figured out and they're probably laughing at us, going, "Look at those humans."
okay, so let's look at it a on an animal level. Um, do you think what Crazy Lady just said? Do you think that animals do look at us and say these humans are just totally effed up? I mean, do you? I mean, because I do believe that animals are smart. I mean, I'm not saying that they're sitting around having a talk the way we're having a talk right now, but do you think that animals? How do you think animals view humans?
Well,
Probably as parasites.
Well, the reason the thing that is a little bit challenging on whether they sit there and look at us in bewilderment and wonder what the hell's wrong with us. The reason I would push back on that a little bit is, as far as I know, animals, they're governed by instinct. They do not have the ability to reason. So to sit there and try to assess a situation and evaluate something and go, what's wrong with my master? What's wrong with these humans? Would infer that you have the ability to reason and think deductively. And I don't know that animals. I'm not an animal,
Well,
but I don't know that they have that ability.
gorillas, I think, kind of do, and so do apes. I don't know. See, like, I don't know. It's just like, like the octopus. They're, did studies on octopuses, and octopuses are like really, really smart. They figure out puzzles and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like we don't know enough about the animals to really.
Okay.
We could theorize all day long.
Okay. Well, Loverboy says animals live off uh, their natural instincts. Humans aren't animals. We just we just act like it. Yeah. Yeah, ain't lying there, Loverboy. Okay, so, do you think that it is harsh when I say God should just end it all? Bahram, welcome. Do you think that I'm being harsh when I say that God should just end it all? And like I said, it is a when I say that, depending upon who I'm having the conversation with, the 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 reactions are either they agree with me, or people say you shouldn't say that, don't say that. And that's why I say, is it fear, that you just don't want to hear it, or is it fear of not wanting to face a very real, quote unquote, possible truth? And then Craigslist says no. Brina says it's not harsh, I have the same thought sometimes. Let's see, Bob says, hi, so yes, I am well, thank you. Loverboy says, at the rate we are heading, doesn't seem too far away. And Loverboy, that's what I'm saying, at the rate that we are going, where we are headed. Because to me, we're not headed in the right direction. We're headed in the wrong direction. And I'm not, and I'm I'm not I'm looking at the whole. I'm looking at the whole. I'm looking at, like I said, we're, building homes and everything. We're taking away natural um, um, habitats. Why are we having, so many fires and floods? Why is the weather the way it is? Why is it, getting hotter and hotter, or, I mean, why? Are we, what is going on? And I think man has a lot to do with it. And like I said, you know, um, the pollution, the litter, the anarchy, the chaos, that's man made. You don't see animals going around eating McDonald's and then they throw the wrapper somewhere. I mean, they don't do that. So and I'm not trying to be funny, but I mean, I'm trying to make a point. So, anybody want to push back on me? Before you do, let me read some of the comments so I don't get backed up. Crazy Lady says, "I don't think humans will ever be extinct." Hmm, interesting. GP says, "I'm just waiting for the aliens to come and have their way with us." Uh, let's see. Unless the Earth has an oops. And Bob says, I think it's unfair on the 90% of us people who do what we can to do get by and don't have any control over anything apart from our own lives. Loverboy says, ungodly worshiping is advancing the progress. Okay, so Crazy Lady, when you say you don't think that humans will ever be extinct, you think that, um, do you think the world will ever come to an end? And when I say ever come to an end, I'm saying it may not come to an end in 2022, but in 4034. Do you think the world will come to an end? I mean,
Well, I mean, like eventually, I'm sure it's something will happen to the Earth, like like I don't know, like a big enough asteroid, slamming into it, or like when the sun blow, like goes supernova. I mean, like things like that could happen. I mean, that's what they're figuring out. Killed off the dinosaurs was what one big meteorite hit the ground. Um, Other than like something like that, where like all the like everything on Earth dies and we become like a dead planet, then yeah, check it out. Unless humans figured out how to live on another planet somewhere else or adapt to space or something, yeah, then they're gonna die out. But
Okay, okay, but listen to what you just said. So, do you think it's possible that we will be living, that we could live in a Mad Max world?
oh no, that possibility, yeah, that could happen because there's always going to be like a pocket of a human somewhere that survived
So, okay, but
somewhere.
okay, okay. So, you don't think that
But
after a
yeah, oh, Mad
while,
Max, oh yeah, that totally can go down.
okay, so don't you think that eventually, because if we live in a Mad Max world, then you have the majority of the human population gone. So don't you think that eventually that Mad Max world, the ones, the few that survive will eventually die off? Welcome, Mr. B, and welcome, Drushi. So do you think that's possible?
Well, like if you're like the only living person like on a continent, well then yeah, I mean, but like they'd be like always small like little pockets of society that they'll find each other. It's just human nature, you know. Um, and it's like there's like no males or no females. But like, yeah, no, I don't. I think that the human race as a species, we're hopefully smart enough to like we could adapt and overcome. You
So,
know.
so okay, okay, all right. So do you think animals will ever be totally extinct? I mean, we already see animals that are. Once
Well, yeah,
again,
we could probably hunt them down, and yeah, but see, once the animals become extinct, it's like you need animals to live. Actually, we kind of do because like if all the bees were gone, all the vegetation would die off, and then we become a dead planet.
okay, and because and the reason why I said about animals is because a lot of the animals that are extinct, once again, because of man. I mean, man,
We are the parasite of the earth.
we are. So um, that's why I say, God should just end it all. So and then
Well, he
start
used to do it
start
quite
over.
naturally. Like remember the plague and stuff. I think all that was like God's way of like thinning out the population.
Okay, all right. So you remember the movie, the Omega Man with Charlton Heston?
Yeah, I remember that.
You say yes
Well, I've
or
seen it.
no?
I don't like remember it. Like I was too young, but I remember seeing it. Like
Okay, well, basically, where he was one of the few survivors of a pandemic, and when you look at stuff like that, when you look at, you know, um, the Omega Man, when you look at, movies like Mad Max and things like that, it's like, would you want to live in a place like that? I mean, I wouldn't want to live where it's just a desolate land. I want to see flowers and grass and I want to see trees and I mean that's me. I don't want to live where I'm living in a cave and scrounging around eating rats and what have you. To me, that's not living. That's just trying to survive until the next day where you're scrounging and around for your next meal. That's not living. So I mean I just think that, again, if God were to start over, I think he would think twice in terms of what he would, the capacity that he would give humans. So let me read some of these comments. See everybody saying hello to Mr. B. Mr. B, hello. Um, okay, GB says, "Are you worried or scared about the world ending?" Absolutely not. Nope, nope. I if it comes, it comes, and it's something that I feel that I may see within my lifetime. I don't know how many years I have left, but I think it's a very real possibility. But no, I'm not. The only thing that I think is sad is, that, my son's generation, the generations, that come after him, would not be able to experience life, but no, I am not worried about it at all. See, Loverboy says, uh, different trees are on the verge of a extinction too. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And once again, a lot of it has to do with man. First thing we want to do when we want to build Starbucks is cut down a tree. Let's see. Brenda says inflation makes me feel like I'm scrounging sometimes. Yes, it does. And Loverboy says just have to make peace with the Creator, and know we did our best. Okay, and yeah. So
So you're not scared of dying then?
no, no, I'm not.
Except a lot of people are scared of dying.
Well, it's something that I think about more often as I get older, and I did a show on this last October. When my mother passed, I had the conversation with my sister. I said, between the two of us, who do you think is going to be the last one? And and we've had talks about it since then. I've talked to other people about it, and I have conversations about death all the time with various people. I mean, death is a part of life. I would love if God allowed it to let me live to be 100. I would like to at least make it to 100, even if I died on my birthday. Let me make it to at least 100. But if I don't, then He's calling me home. He's calling me home. And let's see, Salad. I'm sorry, GP says, Salad, are you okay? Are you worried about the world ending? Okay, now Sarah said that. No. Let's see. I'm sorry, my chat jumped. Okay, and Lover Boy says, I want to go home. I'm ready whenever he is. And Crazy Lady, you also say you are not scared of death. So on this panel, how many people are scared of dying?
I am not scared of dying. No.
Okay, I'm
I'm
not
not
scared of
scared of
dying.
dying. Actually, I've died like twice, technically. So yeah, I'm not scared of dying.
So I'm gonna ask you.
How
Okay,
did I die?
yes, and wait, hold on. Before you say that, GP says he's no longer scared, and GP, while Crazy Lady is answering my question, can you also put in the chat when you say no longer scared? What made you no longer scared? Okay, Crazy Lady, go ahead. Sorry.
The first time I OD'd, unfortunately, and the second time was when I hit the moose. Apparently, I died at one point. My dad told me
Okay,
that.
so both times, because I have never died. Um, did you see that light
Um,
that they talk about? That there's that bright light. Did you see that?
no, I don't think so. But the second time I died, things are like different. They're just different. It's like I'm more. I don't know. I'm like more calmer than what I was before. I guess would be a good way to say it.
Are you more calmer because you see it as a wake up call, or you think that experience itself just gave you a sense of peace or calm?
That experience itself, I think, made me more. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of death. Um, yeah, I'm not. I know I'm not scared of death.
Okay, okay,
No, in this life, I died twice.
okay,
AKA asked for a previous one.
okay. Loverboy says, "I just don't want to come." He just doesn't want to come back here. And Juju says, "So sorry, crazy lady." Like
Why?
a okay. So Brina says, like a humbling. So were you humble? Is that Is that what was it a humbling for you?
Um, actually, my dad's death is the one that humbled me the most. I think that's because uh, a part of me was always thought that he was like immortal.
Hmm.
Uh, that one humbled me a lot.
Okay, Crucible, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it's a funny thing about death. It's kind of that double-edged sword. I don't fear it in the one sense because I have no control over it. I don't know when I'm going to die. I don't know how I'm going to die. I don't know any of the circumstances surrounding it. Will it be quick? Will it be painful? I don't think about those things because I really don't have any control except how I take care of myself. On the other hand, we are kind of taught from a very early age, or it's part of our innate instincts, to fear the unknown. And since nobody has ever come back from the dead to tell us what that experience is like, there's nobody alive today who knows what death is like. So, on the one hand, we are conditioned to fear things that we don't understand. And on the other hand, we don't fear things that we don't have any control over. So I kind of come down on the side of I don't fear it because I can't control it. Am I afraid of something I don't know? A little bit, but by the time I'm dead, I think God will have sorted it out, and all that worrying and anxiety would have been for nothing. Because again, you shouldn't worry about stuff you can't control.
Okay, Crucible, you said something, and I'm going to come back and ask you, but I just want to read some of the comments first so I don't get behind. Loverboy says, my son almost dying at birth humbled me. Brina says, I would prefer it to be in my sleep and painless if I get a choice. Uh, and Loverboy says, there's plenty of people who have returned from death. That's what I was going to say to Crucible. Boss says, we are on the verge of transhumanism, uploading our consciousness, freezing our bodies, merging with AI. However, it will only be for the rich. And Crazy Lady says yes. Pain free would be nice. And Ra says humans will be extinct and we will become something else. Okay, so Crucible, what Loverboy says. I mean, and what Crazy Lady just said, people have died and they have come back. So there are people who have lived to tell the tale.
That's a technicality. Nobody has come back to tell us what heaven is like. No one has come back to tell us that they saw their loved ones. No one is there to tell us what God looks like. No one is there to tell us what heaven looks like. All we get is that light or some subconscious thing that we don't even know if it's actually death. I don't know. Doctors have probably been able to prove it, but that's very limited and very technical. So yes, I agree with Loverboy and I agree with you. People have quote unquote come back from death. But with regard to giving us any kind of in-depth understanding of the experience post-death, I'm not talking about that time on the operating table where you were dead for 30 seconds or something. Come back to life and tell us exactly the details of what the afterlife is like. That's what I was referring to.
Crazy Lady, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, like I said, when I OD'd, uh, I didn't know that I OD'd, but like they said, yeah, you died, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't see anything. It was just like nothing, and I really don't remember the car ac- the accident at all, or the 2 years after. But I feel different now than I did then. It's like I appreciate life, and I'm a lot more calmer.
Okay. All right. All right. So do you guys think that well, first of all, how many people believe in what is it? I always say this phrase wrong. Is it end of times or end of days? I think it's end of days. Do you guys believe that's a true statement?
I'm familiar with the term, but can you describe specifically? I'm assuming it has something to do with the end of the world, but what's the context of that phrase?
From what I understand, it's basically like you just said that the end of days is it's like we may or may not have a warning that the end is coming, but it's something that is supposed to, happen within a certain period. That you're supposed to see chaos and what have you, amongst, the worlds and humans, and there's just supposed to be total anarchy, whatever, and that's supposed to be a telltale sign of end of days, which to me sounds also like the book of Revelations, because the book of Revelations basically, when you read it, everything that's going on now is kind of foretelling the end of the world. So
Do you think God knows when the world is going to end?
yes, I do. I think he knows when the world's going to end. I think um, he has a book. This is just my own version of God. I think that in that book he has written down the day that you were born, and he has your death date. And I think that he has the date that the world is going to end, because he's going to do it.
So do you think, I mean, to the point about, tearing it down and starting over, do you think he is waiting for us? I mean, he knows we're flawed. He created us, but do you think he's waiting for a particular cataclysmic event? In other words, he'll know it when he sees it. He has an idea when he wants to end the world, but he's giving us as humans a chance to redeem ourselves from all the carnage and evil we've sown across the globe. Or does he have a hard and fast date that says, you know what, guys, on this particular date, I don't care what you're doing, if you've turned it around, if you're behaving yourselves, I don't know, it's over on this particular date? Or do we have a chance to earn ourselves back into his good graces?
Well, I mean, that's kind of what Loverboy said when he said that, God's going to, give us a chance to make it right. And I think that, we've had chances year after year after year, thousands of years, hundreds of years, we've had chances. I do believe that he knows when it's going to end. I think that, even if you're that person who, never did anything wrong and tried to live right, whatever, you, everyone's going to get caught up in the end of the world. And when he does it, when he does it 2.0, whatever, maybe the righteous ones, and whatever you consider righteous, maybe the righteous ones will have a better place than everyone else. Maybe the righteous ones won't, come back as, I don't know. I just think that God has a plan, and He's had that plan from the time the world was created, and that saying, and He knows when the world is going to end. I think everybody has a death date, and the only person that knows is God. And the only time that humans know is, if you're in the hospital, and, if you're, if you're dying, and the, doctor is saying, come now, or something like that, or you just got shot, whatever, that is still your death date, but that's about as close to humans knowing when someone's going to die. So that was a long-winded question, and I went on longer than I should have. I apologize. So first of all, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. But since I keep coming back to the tear it down and start over thing, and I think you might have said something, or somebody typed in the chat, it will be a do-over for God too, because he will be able to learn some of the quote unquote mistakes that he made, or the things that he would do differently the second time around. Just like people get remarried or people start a new job, they commit to change the things that they didn't like the first time around. But again, I go back to that free will and being flawed human beings. If he's going to give us a chance to live our own lives and make our own decisions and choose right from wrong, I'm having a hard time understanding why the second time around would be any different than the first time around, unless he's going to be a different God. He's not going to have good and evil. He's only going to have good, which would not be, that's a utopia. That's not an actual world. So I guess this is also obviously a theoretical question, but I can't help but come back around to the practical. If everything stays the same in terms of the way God creates the world and treats us as human beings, why it's kind of like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome.
Okay, I mean that makes sense. You have a point. I'm going to catch up on the chat a bit. Let's see. Loverboy says Walt Disney has been frozen for years. And he says Jesus came back. Bob says, I've heard that possible, but I'm not sure. Loverboy says, yes, they talk about it a lot down here, but his body is not in Florida. Most people say that they say hell and they see hell and people burning, praying for God to save them. Bob says, I sent you a TikTok last night about the subject. Strange. See. Crazy lady still setting up her phone. Loverboy says the warning is the rapture. Okay. Bob says, in the days is metaphorical, is not literal, is priming people for death and destruction, so they accept it. I go, I base my stuff on the Bible, so I'll just see. Sad, really. See, only God knows. Loverboy says. Juju also says only God knows. Loverboy says yes. Once the great liar takes control of the world. Oh boy. Welcome, Alpha Mike. Welcome, welcome. And Loverboy says, well, Lucifer won't be around anymore. And Alpha says, I'm not a believer of a God. Frankie, thank you very much for the coffee. Everyone, thanks for liking the show. So, I mean, again, when you hear somebody say, excuse me, like me, hey, D, welcome. When you hear somebody like me say that God should end it all, do you guys think anything particular, or it's just like, oh, this, here's a crazy person talking, or do you like really listen or take note and just say, maybe he should? I mean, what do you all think when you hear something like that? See, GB says, I just want to see the Dallas Cowboys win another Super Bowl. Okay, crazy lady. So you're a total atheist? Okay. Bob says, I think it's sad, defeatist, and wrong belief to have. Sorry. That's fine. That is your opinion. And since I don't consider myself defeated in any way, I am just fine. So I am, nope, I don't have a problem with that. So, Crucible, you want to say something?
Yeah, I kind of veer back to the practical more often than I probably should. So when I think about, tearing it down, I don't, except for when you look at, like you're saying, floods and fires, and you got a hurricane going on right now. Whether these are signs from God that he's angry or the end of the world is near, I don't know. But I kind of tend to look at, and it would be difficult to find, I admit that, any empirical evidence that says God is getting ready to blow this thing up. Are there things, signs that we should be looking for to say, yep, that's a signal, that's a signal? I know people think they see them sometimes, but like I said, I go back to the practical. Where's the evidence that makes it look like there's a cataclysmic event coming and the world is going to end? What would drive that event?
I say it, like I said at the beginning of the show. I say it because just of everything that is just going on. That's why I say it. So that's the only answer that I can give you in terms of why I say it. And I think that, again,
Following
for me,
sounds
you look at the book of Revelations,
Revelations.
because I do believe in the Bible. So, crazy lady, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You answered my question.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. And then, okay. So, just curious. So, was that part of your question?
Well,
Could
no, I
you?
was asking Alpha Mike if he was like a total atheist, and like I've never met like a person like that who's like a total atheist, and I just got a couple
Okay.
questions on that
Okay.
subject.
Okay. And then Alpha Mike says, if you want, I guess. Loverboy says, this definitely is a time in history that has the most non believers ever. I agree with you. Bob says, on a boat full of 1,000 people, 2 people are murderers. Do we sink the ship? because I hear you saying yes when you say God should end it. Well, I mean, if that's how you choose to interpret it, that's how you can interpret it. But that's not what I'm saying. Alpha says, I just don't believe one being or entity created everything. If there is life on other planets, I doubt they believe what humans do. To me, religion is just another form of control and rules. Either do this or burn in hell. Okay, all right. GP says, is it normal to have a bucket list? I think people have had bucket lists for as long as, I mean, I think a lot of people, have that list. Well, this is what I want to do before I die, or I want to do this before I get married, or, before I'm 21, I want to be able to do this, or, I mean, I think we've all had bucket lists from time to time. So, yes, I guess. Yes. Yes. And if that answers your question, and again, this is just my own opinion, so I don't know what other people want to say on the bucket list thing. Bob says, if you want God to end it, that means He ends the lives of billions of innocent and good people and animals. If it's all loving God, He wouldn't do that. Again, okay, that's all I'm going to say, because I've said what I said, and my opinion, and what I think, and that's it. So I'm not going to debate myself.
I wanted to make a quick comment on Boz's chat. Could I make a comment, Salad?
Yeah, sure.
So if Ba is correct, and he made a reference to there being 1,000 people on a boat and only two of them are bad, and God sinks the boat and they all die, or billions of innocent people. In animals, God wouldn't do that if He's loving. Well, that would infer that there's never going to be an end of the world. I think that's probably not accurate. So the world, I believe, will end at some point, and there will be billions of good people in the world when that happens. So my belief is that when that happens, God, the good people will go where He wants them to go, heaven. Bad people will go to the other place. So the good people will wind up in a good place. So to say that at some point the world's going to end and a loving God wouldn't take billions of good people, I think that's probably a little bit flawed. He'll take care of the good people, but it doesn't mean He's not going to end the world.
Okay. All right. Because even saying, when you look at, earthquakes and fires and hurricanes and floods, whatever, you have a lot of good people, that die. You have, when the Titanic sank, you know, uh, you had a lot of good people that died. So um, uh, yeah, so to me, to put it like this, people are able to believe and think whatever they want. um, if you choose to believe a certain thing, then, and I've said this before, more power to you. I'm going to believe what I want to believe, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just having the discussion, and everyone is bringing up valid points, but it's how they feel. If you're an atheist, I don't. If that's how you choose to or choose to believe or not believe, okay, I'm not going to knock you. So when you start talking about the end of the world, there's so many different things that people think. Um, you know, because the bottom line is, when the world ends, none of us knows how the world is going to end. Everybody can have an opinion, everybody can think a certain way, but none of us knows. So let's see. Okay, I don't think the world ends. God made it perfectly, just my belief. Boss says. Boss says those were man-made disasters. Okay, so an earthquake is a man-made disaster. Hmm. Uh, D says, a man salad. I wasn't trying to preach, even though sometimes I do come across like that. So it wasn't my intention. Um, Alpha says humans are the end of the world. See, yep. And humans, and that's what I said at the beginning of my show. I said, that when you look at the death and destruction, it is humans. But I do believe that there is Mother Nature. I do believe that, humans do not create earthquakes. Humans, do not create hurricanes and floods. Whatever. These things, happen. So again, all comes down to what you personally, think, whatever. So we're going to be wrapping it up pretty soon. So, Crucible, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I thought this was a really interesting topic, and just to go back to the whole tearing it down and starting over thing, it's an interesting dichotomy that God created, and it's a typical example in this world of something being both virtuous and insidious at the same time. And what I mean by that is God gave us survival mode. He gave us all the instincts to survive, to take care of ourselves, to feed ourselves, all those things. But what ends up happening as flawed human beings develop, that survival instinct turns into selfish mode, and those two are sometimes very indistinguishable. And the survival part is the virtue part. The selfish part is the insidious part. And I don't think it's possible to have one without the other. So as long as God is going to imbue us with survival instincts, it's going to eventually morph into selfishness, and that's when damage gets done to other people. So I find it an interesting question. If we all came back in a second go-around and we had survival instincts again, would it be an eventuality when that we became selfish again, and the whole merry-go-round starts all over? But anyway, I think it's a great topic, Solid. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for popping up. And Crazy Lady, thank you for popping up. And see, Alpha says, I wouldn't go that far. Humans did create the Heart Project. Okay. See, and Boz says, Mike meant to clap. Ha ha, but hey, ha ha. Okay. And Alpha says, humans have a huge impact on this planet and Mother Nature. Okay. So that kind of gets into the climate control thing. Yeah, so again, this was just, a conversation on, a phrase that I tend to say. I tend to say it a lot, and I think that, and people can push back on me, but again, everybody has their own opinion. They can think however they want to think, and I'm just, wanted to throw it out there and see what you guys think and or thought, and you guys told me. So on that note, tomorrow is Thursday, which is supposed to be a fun show. I do have a topic that I think is going to be fun. I will post it later on. But other than that, guys, thank you for popping up and enjoy the rest of your evening or weekend wherever you are in the world. And go where the wind takes you. Bye. So, D, thank you for popping on. Alpha, Bob, Power Girl, Crucible, Rena, Ninja Bunny, Minnesota, Juju, Frankie, Loverboy, aka. Thank you, Rena. Thank you for coming. Juju, let's see, and Loverboy and Frankie, thank you very much for the gifts. I do appreciate them. I appreciate them very much. Thank you, everyone, for liking the show. Crazy Lady, thank you for popping on and joining the panel. I do appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. So, and for the people who just pop in and out, thank you for that too. And next week, we will be streaming everywhere that I possibly can. So, on that note, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.